Good morning, everyone. My name is George Uzoma, and I'm here again to teach you social studies. Well, today is a different topic. We're looking at drug abuse. Now, I want to ask you something. If you're not feeling fine and you thought of going to the hospital and you thought of the time you're going to spend waiting to see the doctor, and you decided to go to a nearby shop where they sell drugs, and you bought some drugs and you started taking it to treat yourself. Is that drug abuse? Well, I believe some people will say that's not drug abuse because they are trying to treat themselves. Now, actually, that is drug abuse. Why did I say so? Self-medication is what drug abuse. Now, the drug is not prescribed to you by a doctor, and you don't know the quantity that is normally required for your system. So when you take a drug that is not prescribed by the doctor and you're taking it beyond the requirements, that is drug abuse. So now let us go to the class itself. So join me for the ride. Let's look at the topic properly. Now, the specific objective, at the end of the lesson, the people should be able, 1, define drug abuse, 2, list the sources of good drugs, then 3, mention the sources of bad drugs, and 4, state ways of preventing drug abuse. So now let us take the definition of drug abuse. Now, the definition here states that, you can join me to read, drug abuse is the consumption of drug in excess of what is normally required. So when you take the drugs above what is normally required, that is drug abuse. Now, what do I mean by that? You can see that sometimes when you go to the hospital and they give you drugs, you can see sometimes they make inscriptions on the drugs. Now, you see they'll make a stroke, 1, 2, they make a dash, 1, 2, they make a dash again, 1, 2. Now, what does it mean? 2 in the morning, 2 in the afternoon, and 2 in the night. Now, you went to the shop to buy a drug. Now, you don't even know the quantity you're meant to take, and you just carry it, you just peel out or take 2 out of the sachet and you consume, or 3, which you are meant to take just 1 and you're consuming 2 or 3. So you can see that that is drug abuse. It's the consumption of drugs in excess of what is normally required. Now, it involves the use of drug in a wrong way. Now, you can see that there are so many people that abuse drugs. Now, you can see sometimes when we have cough, sometimes we go to the pharmaceutical shop to buy cough syrup, and they'll tell us that we should only take it twice, 1 in the morning and 1 in the night. And sometimes you can see that when you consume this cough syrup, sometimes you feel like sleeping. Sometimes you even sleep off and you sleep for a longer hour. Now, imagine someone going to the pharmaceutical shop and buying this same cough syrup and consuming that bottle at once. Imagine the situation of that person at that time. You can see that that person is abusing that drug. The person is using the drug in a wrong way. Now, the next thing we want to look at now is sources of good drugs. Where can we get good drugs? Drugs that are good for our own consumption, drugs that are good for our health. Now, from the first image you can find here, one of the sources of a good drug is the hospital. Now, you can see the patient lying down on the bed with a cup of water on his right and receiving his drug from the doctor with the left hand. You can see that if you want good drugs, you go to the hospital, and that is where you get drugs that are good for your health. Are you getting me? Now, the next place you can get good drugs is a pharmaceutical shop, a pharmacy. So, meaning that when you go to a pharmaceutical shop, they will give you the required drug. You can see from the image there, the pharmacist is prescribing the right drugs to the patient there. So, if you need good drugs, it is nice you go to a pharmaceutical shop and you buy the drugs. Now, the next source of where we can obtain good drugs is a pharmaceutical company, that's drug companies. You can see the people there, the lady there testing the drugs. You can see the various machines for mixing and so on. These are areas where they produce the drugs we consume. You can see the drugs we consume, they are herbs. Now, from herbs, they process it to tablets. So you can see that some of these, sometimes when they give you the herbs, we don't like to consume them because it is bitter and so on. So they process it to tablets and we consume them. So these are places we can get what good drugs. Now we want to look at sources of bad drugs. And another name for bad drugs are what? Hard drugs. Are you getting me? Now from the image here, we can get hard or bad drugs from street hawkers, hawkers on the street. You can see the person there. He's paying 50 euros to take some drugs. Now the person selling this drug is not a medical doctor. Now we don't even know if these drugs are right or they are good for his health. So you can see that one of the places we get bad drugs are from street hawkers, because sometimes they sell harmful substance to us. So promise me that you will never buy a drug from a street hawker. Are you getting me? Are you getting me? Now, the next place we can get hard drugs or drugs that are not good for our health are from drug traffickers, drug barons. These are people that are involved in selling of, that are involved in what? In distribution. They are involved in cultivating it, processing it, and distributing it in large quantities to different parts of the world. Now, the picture of this man with the gun, the man with the gun here, is known with the name El Chapo. Now, you may not know him, you can ask your parents. He is a popular drug trafficker, a drug baron. He was arrested some years back. Now, why did they arrest him? He was involved in selling of what? Hard drugs. And these drugs are not harmful for our own consumption. You can see some of these drugs, they affect our state of reasoning. And that is why it is wrong. So these are the people that distribute it. So they are also a source of what? Bad drugs. Now, the next is a hotel. Now, from the image you can see here, you can see the young man is smoking. You can see some tablets on the table. Now, you can see bottles of alcohol. You can see cigarettes there. All these things are all what? Drugs. Okay, you can see the alcohol there. That's the bottles of alcohol there. They affect the liver. It has an effect. It has a side effect. When you consume alcohol, in excess, it destroys our liver. And one of the functions of the liver is to fight what? Toxins that get into our body. You can see that some of the food we eat, they have toxins. So the function of the liver in our body is to fight some toxins that come into the body. So when you consume alcohol in excess quantity, it destroys our liver. Now, you can see the cigarettes there. It destroys our lungs. Now, if you see, when you find, sometimes people that consume these things, that smoke cigarettes, it burns their lungs. And the tendency of having what? Cancer of the lungs is very high. So you can see that it has a side effect. And it is not nice to consume cigarettes, it's not nice to consume alcohol. Now, not only do they have side effects on our health, especially on our lungs and our liver, they affect our consciousness, our state of reasoning. You can see most times you do watch movies, you see people that consume alcohol. After drinking alcohol, you see them behaving so, as in a funny kind of way. Are you getting me? They affect us. Now on the table, you can see different kind of tablets. All these things are all what? Hard drugs, and they are also what? Bad drugs. Are you getting me? Are you getting me? So promise me that you never involve yourself in consuming hard or bad drugs. Are you getting me? Now, the next thing I want to look at ways of preventing drug abuse. Now, number one, avoid self-medication by seeing a doctor when ill. So if you are not feeling fine, make sure you go to see the doctor. That is the best recommendation I would give to you if you are not feeling fine. Don't go to the street to buy any drugs. Go and see the doctor first. Now, the reason why you have to see a doctor, I said it previously. There are certain drugs that have effects on our body. Now, I could remember one day when I was not feeling fine, I involved myself in self-medication. I went to buy a particular malaria drug. Now, they said that adults should consume 3 tablets at once. But beneath the tablet prescription, they said if you weigh up to 70 kg, you should consume the 3 tablets at once. I never knew that I was weighing just 62 and I went to consume the 3 at once. So you could see that after consuming it, the malaria went, but I was having what? Headache. That was the side effect of consuming it in excess. So you can see that what? That the best advice I'll give to you is that if you're not feeling fine, go and see a doctor. Avoid self-medication. Are you getting me? Now, the next thing we should do, avoid bad friends. You can see that sometimes our friends advise us to involve in what? Drug abuse. It is not nice. Sometimes they'll tell you, oh, when you take this, you'll be a big boy. When you take this, you're a big girl. Please don't listen to them. Avoid what? Bad friends. If you avoid bad friends, you will never involve yourself in drug abuse. Let me tell you the real truth, drug abuse does not pay. It will not help you in any way. So avoid friends that will make you to indulge in what? Drug abuse. Now, the next way of preventing it, the government should enlighten the public on the dangers of drug abuse. The government should enlighten the public. So it is the duty of the government to enlighten people on the side effects of drug abuse. They can do that through talk shows on radios, through talk shows on television. So when you listen to these talk shows, they will tell you what the impact, the effect of these things on our health and on our mental states. Are you getting me? So the government should enlighten the public on the dangers of drug abuse. Then the last one, anybody involved in drug abuse should be sent to the rehabilitation center. So anybody you know that has involved himself or has indulged in drug abuse, please advise the person to go to the rehab. Are you getting me? So that they can put him in a state where he can abstain from what? Abusing drugs. Are you getting me? So please do this. Help me do this by encouraging anybody that is involved in drug abuse to go to see the doctor, to go for rehab, so that they can help him to fight such problems. Okay? Are you getting me? Promise me you'll do that, right? Now, I have an assignment for you, and I want you to look at it, go through it, solve the problem, and reach me. Discuss ways you think drug abuse can be prevented in our society. Discuss ways you think drug abuse can be prevented in our society. So think of ways we can prevent drug abuse in our society. I really want to see your answers, okay? Thank you very much. So my name is what? George Usoma. So have a lovely day. Thank you for watching.